everybody, Jim Edwards here. Welcome back to the Sales Copywriting and Content Marketing Hacks podcast. I'm your host, along with my trusty co-host and podcast producer, Mr. Stu Smith. Welcome, Stu.
Hey, Jim.
Stu, this is episode 131. Can you believe it? We've done 130 podcasts before this one.
We're moving right along.
We are going to get this figured out at some point. So today, we're going to be talking about KISS PQR2. My goodness, this sounds like something that could detonate at any moment.
Yeah, you know what? I loved your Keep It Simple, Jim's Gym this week. And just pulled it out. Like you went the Keep It Simple, KISS principle. But, there's some easy acronyms in there. And I wanted to pull another one out of Copywriting Secrets, which is PQR2, which means problem, question, roadblocks, results.
Yes, that's actually from page 66 in my book. Just saying. If you don't have a copy of Copywriting Secrets, you can get a free copy at copywritingsecrets.com. All I ask is you just pay a small shipping and handling. Limited quantities available. Go ahead. What?
Yeah. So I figured we just talk about a situation where there is a problem and you figure out a way to work through them using the Keep It Simple method.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds great. Why don't you kick us off with what your thoughts are and what you'd like to talk about that?
Well, I was going to open that up to comment sections, kind of problems people are having, if they're having problems. Maybe it's a problem with not getting enough social media followers. Like they have a good email list, but they don't have, they're trying to transition into social media. And trying to build up their following there through multiple platforms.
Okay.
What would you suggest with the Keep It Simple solution? The problem is you're trying to grow your media traffic.
Right. Yeah, I think, well, first let's establish kind of the framework for what is our default for anything as far as when confronted with a problem. And different people have different models for dealing with problems. Some people say, okay, I got a problem. I'm going to need to spend money to solve this. There are a lot of people that do that. And a lot of businesses do that. It's like, hey, we got a problem. Let's throw money at it. It'll go away. The government does that too.
Sure.
So I don't do that because I was poor. And so
you know what I do?
Money now, and I like keeping my money.
I go to YouTube and I state my problem in there and see if somebody has created a nice little video on how to get through that problem.
Well, it's funny, Stu, because I do the same thing. I go to the Google or I go to Facebook or not Facebook or YouTube and I put it in. I'm gonna give you two examples. All right, just real quick. And by the way, the simplest solution to your problem is often the best. The more complicated and expensive the solution is, the less likely you are to actually implement it. And so I'll give you a quick example. As you know, Stu, I have gotten into fishing. I have more fishing lures than I have sense. And the problem is that where I live, we have tons and 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 tons of seagrass. When the seagrass is out, literally washing up on the beach, it looks like somebody mowed their lawn on my beach. It's terrible. And you cast out, reel in, all you do is immediately snag grass, and then the fish just sit there and laugh and say, oh, yeah, I ain't gonna bite that. Go away. Get out of my face with that. So instead of actually doing anything about it, I was banging my head against the wall for weeks, like trying to figure out how to use top lure, all this other stuff. But then everybody says all the big fish are hanging out in the grass, which is true because they're down in there eating the bugs and the crabs and all this other stuff. So I went on YouTube and I looked for, how to fish thick grass. And I worked my way, it was kind of like a treasure hunt. Somebody was talking about using, is it thick grass in salt water? Is it thick grass in a pond? Is it thick, what kind of grass is it? And then I found another one where somebody mentioned, I'm going to use a Texas style rig. And I'm like, okay, this is something I haven't heard before. So he holds it up, but he doesn't really show it, but he's showing that the thing's going through the grass. So what's the next thing I start searching for, Stu?
Texas style rigs.
Texas style rig. And then I see somebody, I find one that they show you how to do the Texas style rig. And then they show how when you do it this way, this is why it'll catch the fish.
But not the grass.
But not the grass. And I'm like, oh my God, that's the answer to my prayers. So then I went and did a search for best Texas style rig. Because of course, and it turns out there is no best Texas style rig, but there's different kind of conditions and lighting conditions and other stuff like that. So bottom line, where did I go next? I went to Amazon. And because I knew the parts that I need, you need a special little kind of hook, a hook with it's weird.
A little bend in it. Yeah.
Right.
And then you hook it back into the worm so it's not exposed. Yeah.
Right. Why the hell didn't you tell me this months ago, Stu? You know
Sorry,
what
man.
it is.
I grew up doing that. So.
That's what friends are for.
Should ask me.
Smiling.
I didn't know you knew, because your one sentence bio says I'm the spec ops coach that kids come to for not fishing advice.
That's true.
You have never once posted a picture of you, a future frogman, or weightlifting or baseball. Never once have I seen a picture with you with a fishing pole in your hand. Just saying.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Okay. So anyway, I got all this stuff coming, and my faith that I may actually be able to catch a fish off my dock or out there has actually been reignited. So I'm feeling good. So the thing is, though, I'm not looking for electronic lures. This is like the simplest thing you can do. It's a rubber worm.
Yeah, little bass worm and
with a
hook into it. Yeah.
With the hook into it, and then the key is that when it bites it, then it unhooks the thing, and then it's like, there you go, Charlie Tuna. So I think that's if I could say one thing that would stick with people, would be find and seek the simplest solution first and work the heck out of that before you start getting more and more and more and more complicated. So people ask me, hey, how do you do the green screen stuff? Or how do you do Mr. Pickles? And how do you do all this other stuff? And my response is, well, have you done several hundred videos already with just you figuring out how to deliver content in a good way that gets people to pay attention? Because you sitting there figuring out how to do Mr. Pickles, and then Mr. Pickles can't do or say or think on his feet, it's worthless. You're just a dork with a Mr. Pickle button. It's true. So that's for me, the simplest solution is always the best one, and not necessarily one that you have to pay for. So what are your thoughts just on solving problems other than going to YouTube? Or is that pretty much that's your default thing? I don't know how to do this. I got to fix the toilet. Let me go to YouTube. That
is my default. I have replaced toilets. I have replaced air conditioning units in my car. I have fixed my riding lawnmower that's 20 years old, all from YouTube videos, and saved hundreds, maybe even thousands of dollars.
You replaced the AC in your Highlander?
I did.
Oh my God, I'm impressed.
Yeah, just the inside the dash part.
Okay.
Because the dash needed some soldering, so it just showed me how to solder two wires that were because it wouldn't turn on because it just needed some wires got clipped off or something. But anyway, did that was that saved $800. But no, so I do basic stuff. So let's kind of get back to this one because I know you're doing stuff with social media and one sentence. What you do in one sentence is part of your bio and stuff to increase viewership and people who follow you. Some of the typical problems people have as they start new social media platforms is they have 0 followers.
Right.
That's what everybody has.
Right. But nobody's born with a list.
No.
That's, you can be born with a silver spoon in your mouth, but you're not born with a list. You're not born as an influencer. So what I would suggest, and I'll tell you a quick story. Well, let me tell you the quick story, and then I'll tell you my thing. So I reached out to a guy. His name's Dave Chesson, and I have my Copywriting Secrets book, and I've got other books that are done well on Amazon. The Copywriting Secrets book is a bestseller, and so he's an expert on keywords, on just doing better specifically on Amazon, choosing your categories. Got a real cool piece of software. So I asked him if I could get an hour of his time and have him help me do some things to try and keep my book at #1 a little bit more consistently. So I'm expecting that he's going to have all these ninja things for me to do, like super ninja insider trick stuff. So I'm expecting that. That's what I'm expecting. So we log into my account, we look at my Amazon listing, and he just starts going through, okay, well, I think you should bold this and you should play this up. I think you also should put in one of your testimonials here. I think that when I read this, it does. I'm like, whoa. I'm waiting for the magic. You're telling me like copywriting stuff. You're telling me these things that, this is not exciting. This is not ninja. This is like basic stuff. And he said, well, yeah, that's what's going to make a difference because that's what people see. And I was like, crap. So basically we just went through and made sure that we had checked all the boxes in his internal checklist of what you need to do. He gave me some cool pointers on what to do with my my reviews, the editorial reviews, a couple things with bolding some things or explaining who somebody is and why you should care. He did talk about the secondary reading path when someone's going down looking at your listing. I'm like, damn, this is like a sales letter. He said, yeah, it is a sales letter. And this is all 99% of stuff that he told me. Or well, let's say 90% of what he told me I already knew. And I probably should have known to do it, but it's always good to have another set of eyes. So the bottom line is that in order to do what I wanted to do, there was nothing whiz bang. It was all the fundamentals. It was all the basics. So let's talk for a minute about social media. You, Stu, already have a presence, a huge presence on Instagram and Facebook, but you wanted to get big on TikTok. You wanted to go start doing stuff on TikTok. And so you, as always, figured out TikTok or figured the thing out. I always let Stu go first. Stu would be like, if I didn't have a little brother, but if I'd had a little brother, I wanted my little brother to be Stu because it'd be like, okay, let Stu go first. Stu, go over there, man.
Yeah. See if it's safe.
Yeah, and then come back and let me know exactly what happened. Okay. So Stu went and figured out TikTok. And how long had you been on there before? It was about 21 days. It was 3 weeks ago that we mentioned it on the show.
I haven't been on for a month yet. I think it's less than 3 weeks actually total.
Okay. So, but you weren't getting as many. You were like, hey, it's a little slow and it's working. And apparently you were getting comments by little troll 12-year-olds on the swim team and stuff, which you didn't mention when we talked about it. Yeah. And the first thing that I noticed when we pulled up your TikTok thing, you're like, hey, look at my videos. Look at my videos. This is what I'm doing. I'm like, hey, your bio there kind of sucks there, Scooter. And so that's when we talked about the 1-sentence bio. So you changed your 1-sentence bio, and what happened?
Well, I changed it to, see, I'm the former Navy SEAL that Spec Ops candidates go to for coaching and training. And that is all I could fit in there. So it is minimal amount of information that you can put in. So you can literally put in about a 10, 12 word sentence.
Right. Now, do you remember what it was before you did it?
It was
I remember
like 300 or 400 or something like that. Somewhere in that zone.
Well, no, actually I can
500 maybe.
Oh, no. I'm not talking about what it was. I'm talking about what it said.
Oh,
see, I
don't remember what it said.
It said StuSmithFitness.com, tactical fitness, swim training, military special ops. You had 554 followers.
Oh, okay.
19 days later, You had 2,450. I think you're probably up over 2,500 now. You should be.
Yeah, 2560 now.
Okay, so 100 since yesterday.
Yes.
And you changed it to, I'm the former Navy SEAL that Spec Ops candidates go to for coaching and training. And I asked you, how significant you thought that one sentence was, and you said it was significant, and it has reduced swimming trolls, 12-year-old kids who are on swim teams being stupid.
Yes.
Which is strong language for Stu Smith. So,
well, we're not the best swimmers, and we know it. I mean, we're land athletes that are just trying to learn how to swim, and then you got competitive swimmers that are laughing at you and saying stuff. But with that one-word sentence,
right,
they quit. They quit doing it. They're like, oh, okay, well, yeah, this isn't competitive swimming.
So you had a 1-2 punch though of
yes.
an increase in the rate of subscription and a decrease in the rate of BS.
Yes.
Just with understanding of one fundamental. And on social media, one of the most important things that you have is the one sentence or the one little paragraph or the 144 characters or the 60 characters or the 300 characters, depending on the platform. It's whatever they'll let you have. I'll show you one other one too, just as an example. When we did this with my my group, with the Sales Copywriting Content Marketing Hacks group, I'll show it real quick. When we changed beforehand, I don't even know what the hell it said, but this is how much space they give you on Facebook. So on the Facebook group, it's, need better sales messages no matter what you sell, want more traffic, visibility, and subscribers from your content marketing. So I got 2 question hooks right there. And then we help people just like you go from blank screen to compelling content and money-making sales messages at the push of a button, no experience required. And actually this is hook story offer. This is hook story offer. If you look, I got 2 hooks. I got the story, which we help people. And then the offer is get your free copy of Copywriting Secrets here. But also it's on there for that's the description of the freaking group. And then if you go over and look at my page where the vast majority of people are funneling through from, then it basically, it's even simpler. It says, and I don't have it memorized, but here we go. Here's my 1-sentence intro. From blank page to compelling sales copy at the push of a button. Join my group.
Hey.
Okay. And so that's how we popped up over, now we're up over almost 24,000 members. So before we did this, it was 2,000 members. When we did this, it's 24,000 members. Am I saying this is the only thing? No. Is it a huge contributor? Absolutely. But there's a whole bunch of other stuff that goes along with that too. If you want to be able to increase your social media following and stuff, you can't just occasionally go out and do some posting. You can't occasionally go out and answer some questions. You have to consistently every single day do something to add value to the world. I would suggest doing it for about an hour every day. Just how much value can you contribute to the world? But you don't, it's where a lot of people fall short is they create the value, but they don't share the value. And it's the same thing as paying money for a billboard and then hiding it in your basement. Doesn't do you any good. There's 3 parts of content marketing: ideation, coming up with cool ideas consistently; creation, which is creating the value consistently; and then promotion, which is putting the value out there in front of the right eyeballs consistently. If you're missing one of those 3, typically that's where it's not going to work. So you can't create great content if you can't come up with consistent ideas. Then if you come up with ideas consistently, but then you think you're done when you've created it, it's like, oh, I posted on Facebook, nothing's happening. Well, I'm sorry, Scooter, but there's a whole bunch of other places you can post it besides just on your Facebook page. And then you also have to do things on Facebook that get followers who will actually come and look at your content. And that's part of the promotion. That's the ring finger here. So, but it's nothing complicated. And yeah, do we spend a lot of money on ads? Yes, we spend a lot of money on ads, but we spend the money on ads to actually sell stuff. It's all those are going to either sell the book or get people into funnel scripts or get people to buy the 7-day ebook. That's what we send our money on. That's what we spend our money on. And I really don't think we get a whole lot of followers and fans from those ads. Once somebody buys, then typically large percentage of them become a follower or a fan. But we're also doing things that there are tons, and the vast majority of people that follow me, the vast majority of people that are on my list have never bought anything. If they had, I'd be a gajillionaire, and I'd have a helicopter that 3 days a week flew up, got Stu, brought him down here so we could train in person. You know,
that'd be fun.
If I could get the 100,000 people, you know, that are on my quote unquote list, if I could get those 100,000 people to pay me a lifetime value of $10,000, that's a lot of money. I haven't, as they say at the English Academy here in the country, I ain't did that yet. So is that answering your question? Or am I just...
No. This is great. I just want to ask one final question, unless somebody in the audience has a question, they can follow up with one. But where did you come up with PQR2? Problem, question, roadblocks, results. Just curious, because I've heard of keep it simple, stupid, but I really like this as an answer to, you know, these type of issues that occur.
So PQR2 came from analyzing people, analyzing your avatar, and what is your avatar paying attention to? What makes them tick? What hangs them up? What makes them fixate like a 5-year-old on a toy 2 weeks before Christmas? Because what happens is we all our radar gets locked in on something, positive or negative. And until that gets addressed, nothing else matters. Nothing else gets paid attention to. Nothing else gets any consideration whatsoever until that thing gets unblocked. And I started thinking about, okay, what are these things? What are they? And it's people fixate on their problems. People fixate on the result that they want to get. They fixate on a question, okay, or they fixate on a roadblock. So, you know, that's where PQR2 came from. Problems, questions, roadblocks, results. And then I started thinking about it from the standpoint of how does sales copy factor in with that? You know, if somebody is, and on a simple way, and thinking about it, you're on this side, all right? You got your little person. They're on this side of a chasm, all right? And they're standing over here in their pity pot with their problems, with their questions, and with their roadblocks, all the stuff that's holding them back. Over here on the other side of the canyon, you know, like I imagine Carlin and the Grand Canyon, you know, over here on this other side is their ideal self standing there with the results that they want. So over here, I'm a struggling spec ops candidate, and my problem is I don't know, I have no clue how to get in shape. The questions I have are how can I do this without a gym membership or the support of anyone? I'm by myself. I'm in a small town, and the roadblock is I don't have any money. I don't have any. I don't have a gym access. I don't have anyone to train me. All I have is a dream. Now over here, I see myself as this Kevlar bearded, tatted, cool operator guy that I've seen in Call of Duty, standing there with the Budweiser on my chest, and all the girls thinking I'm amazing and just being this ultimate warrior. So now our sales copy and our product, our offer and our story, all that stuff, the hook, story, the offer, creates the bridge from where they are to where they want to go and who they want to be and the result that they want. So I just boiled down like 4 years of business school into a drawing that you could do with stick figures that anybody could understand. And that's just the way I've been my whole life. I've always been the person that loves to boil things down to the point where it's like, well, yeah, I liked to where I started liking to do that, and it was all ego driven. but I really despise pompous people that think that they're smarter than everybody else and want to flaunt it.
And talk over everybody when they're teaching them. And
yeah, but I do that. I do that, but that's okay.
No. You actually, like, you break it down to where it's very digestible and understandable. I do the exact same thing when it comes to the science of actual physical fitness, physiology, right? Because I read all these studies and which one works best. And, this one doesn't matter because it's some lab rat, right? When people are like finding studies that disprove other studies, that's a little frustrating. So I try to break that down for people so they don't have to go through that and figure it out. I figure it out for them.
Exactly. And that's part of what we talked about in the Jim and Stu show about that's how I create value in the world that people will pay me for. And that's what you do too.
Yeah.
You boil it down to the point where it's like, just do this. Albert Einstein said, if you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough. And that was one smart dude. So if he said that, it must be true, right?
True.
So I think that's important. And Anna just asked a really good question related to what we're doing here. She said, so the results include the how-to, the antidote. The result is what they want. Your product, your service, your coaching, your software, whatever it is you're selling should include the how-to, either doing it for them or showing them the path of least resistance to do it for themselves. So the result, the result is the end. They pop out the chute after going through your process, your coaching, whatever it is. So that's what the result is. That thing, that bottom line end result, the big payoff that they're looking for. So that's how that factors in. But I love boiling stuff down because then, you can look at so what you're saying is this and this and this and this.
Right.
And you can see their brain going like, well, yeah, but it's more complicated than that. Well, that's like with my brother-in-law. I'm like, so what you're saying is this and this and this and this. Yeah, he's kind of like Eeyore when I know when I've got him. My other objective with him is to see if I can sell a joke at just the right timing and have beers come out of his nose. That's also a fun thing to do. That's another thing that I love doing. It's trying to make people have liquid come out of their nose by laughing or, boiling things down.
You've done that to me a few times.
I do what I can.
Yeah. So. No, that was a good one. Thanks for explaining the keep it simple.
Yeah, this was good. This was fun.
And it was a good Jim's Gym. If you guys have not seen it, you guys should check it out. It's on the Facebook groups page and also on the, where is it? Where else is it, Jim? Where do you keep your Jim's videos?
My Jim's Gems videos are primarily available on Facebook. Let's see if Nancy has been putting them on the blog. Show you how well I keep track of everything. Oh, they're also on my blog. So you can go to thejimedwardsmethod.com/blog. Carlin said, did I miss something? When or where are you giving that? What I do in one sentence presentation? Actually, that was a presentation that I did for the John Maxwell Program Advisors yesterday. So that was something I haven't done for anybody else, but I will probably do that at some point for the Jim Edwards Method Premium folks. So good question.
Yep. I think we talked about the one sentence wizard last week.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. It was part of our show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Anything else interesting going on?
No, just working on a few things. Things are going well with some videos that I've licensed. I've created a licensing agreement with a company that wants to use my videos that I've already made, which is really nice.
Does that feel like cheating?
Pay me for that. I think that's really cool.
I think that's great, man. Yeah. One of the things, and I just as an aside, just like what you're saying here, somebody's licensing this stuff from you. I think a lot of people miss opportunities with stuff they've already done, especially creative people like us. We're like, oh, I did that once. Well, okay, you can do it again. And you can do it again. And so I've started going back, instead of reinventing the wheel every time I got to make a presentation or something, I'm going back through my archives and finding where I've taught a class before, and then seeing how I can adapt or improve. And I'm having a lot more fun, and I'm adding a lot more value by, instead of starting over from scratch every time, finding finding something I already did and making it better.
Nice.
And that's inspiring me to think maybe I should be paying a little bit more attention to, instead of flitting from flower to flower to flower to flower, tend the garden, tend a smaller garden a little bit better.
I tell you what that helps you do is it helps you stay in your lane, because a lot of times new things can pop up that take you out of your lane and expertise sometimes.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're worth the effort, but sometimes they're not. And you know, like for instance, I have a company that's turning my ebooks into apps, because I think that is worth the effort to take it to another level of media formatting, right? It's just, you know, there's probably going to be a generation that only uses apps. They're not going to use books or downloadable PDFs on their desktop, right? It's going to be on their phone. So it seems like a logical progression. There's another company that wanted me to sell supplements on my website, and I'm like, yeah, that's not really my lane. I don't really talk about supplements. I don't use them. You know, I might take some vitamins, you know, so that is not in my lane. You know, I don't teach shooting, you know, there's a lot of stuff that I don't do in the tactical world or the fitness world that I could, but I have focused on my niche and kept it really tight. And that has enabled me to last over 20 years in this business, where a lot of people do not.
Right. Yeah. I think that's called mastery.
Yeah.
So awesome. All right. Well, if you're not a member of the Sales Copywriting Content Marketing Hacks group on Facebook, you should be. Go on Facebook, do a quick search for Sales Copywriting and Content Marketing Hacks, and you will find us. If you agree not to be a dork, we'll let you in for free. And what's that boiling his head? You got to answer 4 questions about it. No, don't be a dork and be nice, and we'll let you in. If you want to get in shape, where should you go, Stu?
StuSmithFitness.com.
That's right. And
easy day.
If you want to create and all kinds of cool stuff and do all kinds of cool stuff and be a cool human being, head on over to thejimedwardsmethod.com. You can check out our blog. You can check out our premium membership and all kinds of other goodies. So I'm Jim Edwards.
Stu Smith.
Everybody have a great day, and we'll see you next time on the Sales Copywriting and Content Marketing Hacks podcast.